with my not very wonderful voice today. Sorry I couldn't be there with you. You asked for a review. I'm trying to do a review for you for tomorrow's test. You can see the topics we have to cover are grams to moles, mass percent composition like we did on the previous test, empirical molecular formulas like we did on the previous test, PV equals nRT, and then we also have to know all these different kinds of reactions: synthesis, decomposition, combustion, double displacement, single displacement, or single replacement. And so these are the things we need to be able to do for the test tomorrow. So I'm going to get started here. I apologize for the gruff voice, and here we go. So if we have 2.50 moles of iron 2 nitrite, that would be Fe parentheses NO2 2. Got to know your naming for tomorrow. We have to look up the mass of that. As you'll recall, the mass off the periodic table, which when you add them all up, it comes out to 180.84 grams equals 1 mole. We want the moles to cancel in this case, so we're putting 1 mole below. We're putting 180.84 grams above, and then we'll do our calculation. The answer is 452. I know it says 452.1 on your calculator, but we only get 3 sig figs because the 2.50 had 3 sig figs. Something a little bit different here, 9.12 grams of sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is NaHCO3. We're going to need the grams of that below and the moles on top. From the periodic table, 84.007 be our number of grams for 1 mole. So we got to do some math. And the calculator says the answer is 0.10, I guess we'll round that to a 9, will be the number of moles of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Next, we need to calculate the mass percent of oxygen in calcium phosphate. So the total mass of calcium phosphate is 310.18. And the mass of 8 oxygens because there are 8 of them in 1 calcium phosphate is 127.992. So we just have to take that times 100%, and that'll get us our mass percent oxygen in calcium phosphate. So that turns out to be 41.3%. Okay. We need to do a similar thing with aluminum sulfide. You need to realize that its formula is this. Remember, the sulfides, the ides, are the negative versions of elements, mainly nonmetals, but with no extra oxygens or anything. 3 sulfides would be 3 times 32.066, and the total mass of aluminum sulfide is 150.158. The mass of just the sulfide in aluminum sulfide is 96.198, so we take that times 100%, and that will be 64.1%. Sulfide. Similar thing, ammonium carbonate. You need to realize ammonium is this stuff, has a +1 charge, whereas carbonate is this stuff and has a -2 charge, so we need it to be this bad. So we have to total up all the NH4s times 2 and divide by the total mass of ammonium carbonate. So the ammoniums themselves have a total mass of 36.078 grams per mole. The ammonium carbonate, 96.086, and when you multiply that by 100%, that fraction, you get 37.5%. Okay. Empirical molecular formulas, remember we just treat our percents as masses. Okay, I've spotted an error in this question here. It's supposed to say 54.5% oxygen. We got to take our percents and turn them into grams, just call them grams. All right, as you can see, when we divide by the smallest, we're going to end up with a 1.33 on the hydrogens. We're going to have to triple everything, therefore, so this formula becomes C3H4O3. And we need a total mass of that, so we'll add them up. So the empirical formula mass for this formula is 88.062. So if I take 176.124 divided by 88.062, I'm going to get pretty close to 2. Therefore, this formula, the molecular formula we're after, is C6H8O6, which, by the way, is the formula for vitamin C. All right, now we have to practice some PV equals nRT. And this first one is asking us for a volume. So I'm going to solve my PV equals nRT for volume. The moles are given as 0.950. I'm going to look at the pressure real fast because I need to use the right unit, the right R value. If it's given in atmospheres, then I need to use the 0.0821, which is the R value that has atmospheres in it. And I need to add 273 to get my kelvins. So my temperature is 398. So that volume will be 31.0 liters. Here we need to turn our milliliters into liters. Got to divide by 1,000 to make milliliters into liters. Got to add 273 to our Kelvin, to our Celsius to get kelvins. And we can see that our R value is going to be the 62.4. So we're solving for moles. So the pressure is 980. The volume is 4.5. The R value is 62.4. And the temperature is going to be 1023. Therefore, the number of moles is 0.0691 moles. And now, our last one, we're solving for a pressure. That means we're just going to have to pick whatever R value we like, and then it'll dictate what the pressure units will be, since it didn't tell us what pressure units to use in the problem. So, pressure is equal to nRT over V. We're going to have to turn our 5.50 grams into moles. So that molar mass for CH4 is 16.043. And so the number of moles are 0.343. So there we go. 0.343 times, I'm going to pick 0.0821 because they didn't tell me which R value to pick, and I like that one. And the temperature is already in Kelvin, so no need to convert that. I can divide by the volume, which is 0.457 liters, because remember, you have to divide milliliters by 1,000 to turn them into liters. Therefore, this pressure will be 19.4 atmospheres. That's pretty high. 19 times as much as the atmosphere is pressing on you right now. That's a lot. Okay, going quickly through this second page, I think we will just fill in here. Combustion is when a substance reacts with pure elemental O2. So O2 has to be a reactant. And it forms oxides, usually carbon dioxide and water. We've done double replacement. These are also replacement, not just displacement. And so the reactants are either both ionic compounds or include an acid and or a base. And as products, the cations have been paired with the other anion that they weren't paired with before. If there's no new solid, which we call a precipitate, or liquid, or gas formed, the reaction doesn't occur. Acid-base reactions produce water. Remember the exceptions where it looks like these things are going to be no reaction, but they actually are carbonic acid and ammonium hydroxide, and they both decompose into a gas and a liquid. Water is that liquid. Okay. In the balanced net ionic equation, we have to be able to do net ionic equations where we canceled out the spectator ions. They should have no aqueous products, only solid, liquid, or gas products on the right side of the arrow in the net ionic equation. Remember single replacement. We have reactants that are pure elements, compounds. We have a reactant that is a pure element and a different reactant that's a compound. If the pure element is a metal, it must be higher on the activity series than the metal ion in the compound. If the pure element is a non-metal, it must be higher on the periodic table than the non-metal ion in the compound. Otherwise, there's no reaction. And finally, redox. We can determine oxidation number by assuming oxidation number of any pure element is 0, and that when oxygen is in a compound, it's got a -2 charge. When hydrogen is in a compound, it's got a +1 charge. So let's do these practices here. It says, write the balanced chemical equation for number 1. So we got Na plus copper 2 nitrite, which will be CuNO2, and making sodium nitrite, NaNO2. And, all right, we apparently have to balance by putting 2 in front of here, or 2 in front of the sodium, and that fixes it. It says, number 2, identify the type of reaction: synthesis, decomposition, combustion, single replacement, or double replacement. I think it's clear this is a pure element, and this is an ionic compound, so that's a single replacement. And then it says, is it a redox? Okay, well, pure elements start with a charge of 0, or have a charge of 0. Here's a pure element also with a charge of 0, an oxidation number of 0. But we know from the name here that this copper has a +2 charge, and you know that sodium, being a group 1 metal, has a +1 charge. So yes, it is a redox reaction. And then would it happen? Well, is sodium above copper on the activity series? Yes, it is. So it would happen. Next is lithium phosphate. Remember, lithium has a +1, but phosphate has a -3, so that we need 3 lithiums to go with 1 phosphate. This is iron 2 nitrate. So NO3 is the nitrate. Each nitrate has -1 charge, so there must be 2 of them here. The lithium nitrate is like this, 1 and 1, because they both have plus and -1 charges. Iron 2 phosphate. That's going to be interesting. The phosphate has a -3, but the iron has a +2, so you crisscross and you get this. It's not balanced yet, I don't think. And so, apparently we're going to have to put There's going to have to be a 6 here and a 3 there. Is that right? That gets us our 3 irons. It gets us our 6 nitrates. It gets us our, let's see, 3 irons and 2 phosphates. We must need a 2 here. Okay. Type of reaction. This is a double replacement. And the question is, will it happen? Oh, is it a redox or not? Double replacements are never redox. Never redox if they're double displacement. So that's a no for redox. And would the reaction happen? Yes, iron 2 phosphate would be a new solid, right? So yes, it should happen. Spectator ions would be lithium, and nitrate. They're spectator ions, which would not show up in the net ionic equation. The net ionic equation would be this, the one solid, and it must be, the reactants have to be the other stuff on the other side, like 3 iron 2 pluses and 2 phosphates. There it is, all balanced. This next one, I think I'll start by putting a 3 here. That fixes my carbons. I'll put a 4 here. That fixes my oxygens. Now I've got 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 1 is 4. 6 and 4 is 10. So this must be a 5, and that's a 1. Type of reaction, combustion. Is it a redox? Yes. How can you tell? Look at this. This is a pure element, oxygen. Whenever anything is a pure element, its oxidation number is 0. But then afterwards, oxygen ends up in a compound, and it's -2. So way you can tell there's a redox reaction is if things change charge from one side of the reaction to the other. Don't know what my word just did here. Made some weird drawing for me. Okay. And finally, will the reaction happen? And we'll just say yes on anything besides single and double replacement. Okay, this next one, we need to balance. I think that fixes it. So this is a single replacement. This time we have a non-metal trying to replace another non-metal. And our rule is that has to be, must be higher on the periodic table than the non-metal ion in the compound. So is chlorine the pure element above bromine? Yes. So it is a redox, and yes, it happens. By the way, it's a redox, because the chlorine was pure element. The bromine ends up a pure element. This is -1 inside here. This is -1 in here. So things change charge for sure. It was a redox. This one looks like I'm going to have to put a 2 there. That'll give me my 2 sodiums and 2 carbons and 2 hydrogens. And let's see, 6 oxygens on the left. But here's 6, 5, 6. Okay, so there we go. This is 2, 1, 1, 1. This is what we call a decomposition. Is it a redox? No. We don't see that anything changed charge from left to right. Will it happen? We'll just say yes because it's not a single replacement or double replacement.